Welcome to Goobertown Hobbies. My name is Brent. This is the biggest, craziest, most ambitious project that I've ever done. Our goal is to make the best video in the history of tabletop gaming. Okay, I don't even know how you could measure something like that, but I think you can see that we're doing something pretty special here. We're making short films about the spectacle of gaming. We're trying to reach new eyeballs and to get more folks interested in this hobby that we love. This is a giant 5-way collaboration. Goobertown Hobbies is the painting channel. Mini Wargamer Dave is the gamer. Cinecore Media is the film crew. One Page Rules is the sponsor in charge of the game and the minis, and Monument Hobbies is the sponsor in charge of paint. Today I want to show you the path that led us here, and how I got my team of minis ready for game day. Dave and I are going to be playing a game of Grimdark Future from One Page Rules. The first step is to pick a faction with the playstyle that you like and the aesthetics that you like. Some of the tropes will be familiar from other settings, and some of the factions are fresh and new. Of course, Dave chose to play demons. Dave likes demons. As for myself, I took a serious look at the Eternal Dynasty and the Jackals. But nah, it's gotta be the Saurian Star Host. Lizards and dinosaurs in space. Outstanding stuff. Grimdark Future is model agnostic, so it can easily be played with proxy models. But One Page Rules also has official model designs for 3D printers. As we were planning this project, I started printing off a ton of cool lizards, and I started experimenting with a few possible paint schemes. Once we had a firm date for game day, it was time to buckle down and get an army of lizards looking nice. Here's the army that I'm gonna bring to the game. My leader is a Saurian veteran on Tyrannosaur, and his second in command is his little brother riding a raptor. I'm bringing a squad of 5 raptor riders, and 2 squads of 5 Saurian guardians with hammers. I've got a squad of 3 gators with power knuckles, and another squad of 3 gators with power claws. I'm bringing 2 squads of 5 geckos with energy shields, and another squad of 5 geckos with sniper rifles. Finally, I'm bringing a spiked lizard. The spikes are rockets. This is 2,000 points of lizards, and that's a good-sized game. I was excited to paint all of the models on this list. Of course, there are a lot of great Saurian Star Host models that I didn't have room to take. I'm sorry, my lizard friends. There's not enough room for all of you on this journey. One Page Rules also makes a fantasy game where the dinosaurs don't have lasers and missile pods. Any of these could have been converted for use in my army too. I'm sorry, dinosaur friends. You can't come this time. Alright. Now that the hard choices have been made, I guess it's time to get to work. Hello, and welcome to what I am arbitrarily calling Day 1. I have here a whole pile of 3D prints. Now, let's start by getting them built up and glued to bases. Many of the models printed out as a single piece, but some of them require a bit of assembly. Either way, I've got to use a bit of sandpaper to clean up a few nubs from the printing supports. Once I have them glued to some round plastic bases, it'll be easier to take stock and see what we're really dealing with here. It's day 2. I've got some more building to do, and then I want to put some texture paste on the bases. To make the bases interesting, I glued down some bits of cork, some wire mesh, and some broken up pieces from the 3D printing supports. Hopefully this will look like rubble and debris when it's all painted up. I'm filling in everywhere else with fine texture paste from Monument Hobbies. This is a durable, flexible glue with some grit and dark paint mixed in. I'm spreading it around so that it'll look like dirt. Day 3. I've got more work to do on these bases, but I think they're gonna look good. Building and painting can take a lot of time, but it's all worthwhile. There are points when you can just sit back and admire how cool things are starting to look. I've got a vision, and I think it's gonna be great. Some of these models are definitely gonna be in the army, And some of these are extras that I'll use for testing out some color schemes. Day 4. I've got some test models, and it's time to settle on a paint plan. I think it's always useful to do a test model or two. The marginal cost of each 3D printed model is low, and I've got extras. I find that there's no substitute for slapping paint around and seeing what happens. One of the reasons that I chose the Saurian Star Host is that lizard scales can be pretty much any color that we want. Those scales are a great excuse to use a lot of bright colors. The paint sponsor for this project is Monument Hobbies, and all of the paint that we used is from the Pro Acryl line. I'd been familiar with the core of their range, but they also sent me some new colors to try out. I'm working my way through a bunch of different ideas to try to find some winning combos. In general, my plan is to use bright neutral gray on the space armor, and I'll put fun, vibrant colors on the scales. I don't have everything figured out yet, but I do know how I want to paint the geckos. Day 5. I am ready to paint some geckos. It was a long day, but it was a good day. Day 6. I am still working on these geckos. I love these little geckos. These guys with the energy shields might be my favorite models in the whole army. This is also a fun example of how an airbrush can be used to get a quick head start on a paint job. I got a transition from purple to blue to bright jade on the skin, and a red to orange fade on the shields. I also got a start on the black bases. The airbrush isn't necessary, but it's fun and it sure is handy. From here on out though, everything is done with a regular old paintbrush. Okay, I want to take a minute to tell you the origin story of this whole project. This is Dan. Dan is one of the owners of Cinecore Media. He's also a wargamer, and he's been looking for ways to mix business with pleasure. Last year, Cinecore Media did a 1-minute demo reel where they pointed their cameras at a game of Warhammer 40k. Cinecore then hooked up with Dave from Mini Wargaming Studios, and they decided to try to make the most cinematic battle report ever filmed. Dave then called me and asked if I would like to be his opponent. Yes I would. Now the final obstacle was to try to find some sponsors. It costs money to hire a cinema team, a studio, and all of this equipment for a week. The film crew even hit the road and did a 1-day shoot at my studio in Maine and another 1-day shoot at the Mini Wargaming bunker in Canada. We're making something special here, and that requires some sponsors. Dan and Dave put me in charge of finding sponsors. Okay then, challenge accepted. Finding the right sponsors is important, and I knew that this would be the chance to set the tone for the whole project. One of our goals for this collaboration is to show that we live in a golden age of gaming, and that there has never been a better time to jump into this hobby. So I made a short list of potential sponsors who I thought would be great representatives for our hobby, and I sent out a couple of feelers. Almost immediately, One Page Rules and Monument Hobbies were on board. Heck yes, this is happening. Honestly, I think this is a dream team. Both of these companies are having a moment right now. They both have a fanatical base of customers, and it seems like they're both growing rapidly from overwhelmingly positive word of mouth. Hopefully people will watch these videos and help to spread the good word. I really want this project to be worthwhile for everyone involved. Full disclosure, our sponsors are paying for the film crew. Dave and I are not being paid. The two of us are in it for the glory. That being said, I did get some free paints and brushes and STL files. I freely admit that I am biased towards Monument Hobbies and One Page Rules, but I liked them beforehand, and that's why I asked them to be a part of this project. I'm spending all this time painting lizards with Pro Acryl paint because that is exactly what I want to be doing. Okay, back to Dan. In addition to being a cinematographer, he's also a great painter. He got so excited about this project that he decided that he was going to be the one to paint the demon army. It's cool to be part of a big collaboration like this where everyone is so invested. Oh hey, One Page Rules just released some new models for the Saurian Star Host line. The Saurian Guardians and the Veteran Raptor Rider are out and ready to print. Day 7, more printing. 3D printing is pretty dang cool. You put liquid resin in the vat at the bottom, you let the printer run, and a few hours later you have some fresh new models stuck to the build plate. Check this out. A Saurian veteran riding a raptor can print as a single piece. I think that's pretty neat. If this was a plastic model, it'd probably be about 15 pieces that needed to be glued. In this case though, I just need to clean up the printing supports and it's ready to go. After washing the prints with isopropyl alcohol, I put them in warm water to help peel off the printing supports. I can use a knife or sandpaper to clean up the remaining nubs later. After just a few minutes of curing these models in UV light, they'll be good to go. For this project, the printer I'm using is a Creality Halot One Plus, and Creality sent this to me as review stock. I've only been using it for about a month, but so far so good. Any models that you see in this video were either printed on this printer or an older model Creality LD002R. I've gotten a couple of good years out of the old model, and it's still cranking along. I printed way more dinosaurs than I actually need, but that's okay. You can never have too many dinosaurs. Day 8. Cleaning up 3D prints and painting geckos. Day 9. Gators. Day 10. More assembly. Okay, this is the final day of assembly. I'm getting the newest models prepped and glued to bases, and then we'll finally see the whole army standing together. A few days ago, this was a bottle of resin goo. Then it was a pile of bits. And now it's on the cusp of becoming. It's becoming an elite force of dinosaurs from space. Day 11, we're going to do some Saurian test models. I love the bright jade color on the geckos and the green on the gators. Now I just need to figure out a fun color for the Saurians that'll fit in with the rest of the lizards. I want the army to look cool in a wide shot, and I want the individual models to look snazzy too. I auditioned a lot of great colors, but eventually I made the call. It's gotta be plum purple.
Day 12, I've got more bases to texture.
Finally, the whole army is built and based. Now I just need to finish painting it.
It's day 13, and I've got to undercoat some saurians.
I've got the primer and a base layer of armor gray on there. Now it's all up to me and my paintbrush.
Day 14, I'm painting the saurians purple. Day 15, still painting these saurians. Day 16. I've got to figure out how I'm painting the weapons on these Saurian Guardians. Day 17. I painted today. More lizards. Day 18. Raptor Day.
A new type of dinosaur and a new color of scales. I played it safe and went with a dull green so that they wouldn't pull attention from the riders. The veteran gets to ride a blue raptor though. The blue raptor is always the leader. You're my boy, Blue.
Day 19. More raptors. Day 20. I'm gonna work on the Tyrannosaurus. Day 21. Painting bases.
Base day is actually a really big day. Getting the bases painted will help to unify the army and make it look like they're all standing on the same battlefield. I started by painting the bases black. Then I did a dry brush of gray to pick out all the textures and debris that I glued down on there. This adds a lot of contrast and it helps us to see the details. It also sets us up for some transparent paints. I used some transparent orange to make some of the metal look old and rusty. After the orange, I did a round of transparent brown. I'm putting this down in random splotches to add some variety. And that's pretty much it. The bases are done, and the army is looking much closer to completion.
Day 22. This is the last full day, so I'm jumping around and trying to make as much progress as I can on all of these units. Day 23, and this is where we're at. It's time to pack it up and head out.
The film studio is in Philadelphia. Dave and I drove in on the same day, and we were roommates here at the hotel. Dave helped me finish painting the Raptors. Dave also helped me learn how to play Grimdark Future. The core rules for Grimdark Future really are just one page, and that's nice. That's something I can handle. The online army builder is good stuff too. My army list and a cheat sheet of dinosaur special rules printed out on a single, well-organized piece of paper. I am ready. So yeah, here we are in the studio. We spent 4 days here. On the first day, we set up the game table, and the cinema team figured out the lighting and the camera settings. The second day of the shoot is when we played the game. We got footage of the game, the dice rolls, and interviews with Dave and I about how things were going. No spoilers, but the game ended up being a really good one. We used day 3 and 4 to get a massive amount of B-roll of the armies on the board. The team programmed the robot to get some amazing shots of some of the critical points in the battle. And now it's all in the can. Sam is the professional editor at Cinecore Media, and he's working on editing up several short films for this project. The goal of this project was to try something different. We're making a battle report, but we're going so over the top with the filming and the editing that I think we're transcending that description. This is going to be something that we haven't seen before. Of course, there are lots of great gaming videos on YouTube. People are experimenting and innovating all the time. We saw an opportunity here to push the boundaries in a new direction, so we took it. The hope is that the finished videos will reach some new folks and get them to give mini painting and tabletop gaming a try. Fresh blood for a bright future. Huge thanks to One Page Rules and Monument Hobbies for sponsoring this project. Both of these companies are innovators and rising stars. They've earned their place in the future of this hobby, and they're still making moves. They both took a risk and used part of their marketing budgets to support this ambitious project. We appreciate the heck out of that, and we're hoping that the investment pays off in a big way. This video was just a behind-the-scenes look at my experience working on this collaboration. I spent several weeks painting space dinosaurs with smooth, vibrant colors, and I can wholeheartedly recommend the experience. Then, I got to play a game of Grimdark Future, and that was pretty fun too. Thanks to Dave and Cinecore Media for including me in this experiment. Unique cuts of these videos will be posted on Goobertown Hobbies and Mini Wargaming Studios. There will also be some content on the Cinecore Media YouTube channel. Alrighty, that's it for this time. Thank you all so much for watching.